Hi, welcome back. My name is Srikan. In today's session, we're going to talk about a new topic called BW Bridge for Datasphere. In this session, we're going to look at different options of data integration from BW to Datasphere. I'm going to go through this diagram to explain this behavior. So you can see there are three options, A, B, and C, that can be leveraged to integrate the data from source systems into Datasphere. So we're going to start with option A, that is to use the BW bridge um, and then integrate the data into Datasphere core. We have other option, or option B, which is not going to have BW bridge in between, but BW4 HANA system can directly integrate with your Datasphere core and model transfer can happen. And then the last option C, which is direct integration into Datasphere core from the ERP system. Could it be your ECC or could be S/4HANA as the source system? As I said, we're going to start with option A to talk about BW Bridge integration with Datasphere. So before we go into the details of um, integration, let's talk about what is BW Bridge in a simple way. So it's going to be a summarized explanation of what is BW Bridge, but there is a lot more to know on this concept. So what is BW Bridge? It's a BW system on cloud. It follows the same code line of BW4 HANA, that is on-premise system, and it has some less capabilities than BW4 HANA. And BW Bridge is running on SAP HANA Cloud Database, and the developments and modeling happen in or using Eclipse modeling tools. So you're going to create the models in BW Bridge just like the same way as you do it in BW or BW4 HANA. So we'll have info objects, data store objects, and every composite providers and all the virtual providers, etc. But you cannot create a query in BW Bridge, but you can use or display the query that is being migrated from your old BW system or BW7 system in BW Bridge. So this is a little briefing about BW Bridge system. This is going to be on cloud, and you do the model creations using Eclipse modeling tools with less capabilities than your BW4 HANA system. Now, let's talk about option A. In this use case, customer can migrate the data from BW system to BW Bridge, and then a model import or model transfer can happen into Datasphere to get the data in Datasphere, and then you can prepare the models and give it for reporting. So why do we need BW Bridge in between? We will know more details on this particular topic later, but here we understand the technical option at this time. So you wanted to start migrating your legacy BW system to BW Bridge so that your cloud presence gets started. Your all on-premise models or legacy models will be transferred to your BW Bridge system, and then a BW Bridge system is going to be sitting alongside of your Datasphere core, and then you can integrate the data easily with Datasphere core. It's going to be a little effort needed to migrate your legacy system to the BW Bridge, but this makes your cloud journey much simple in the future releases. Then option B is to have an hybrid approach. You don't migrate your BW4 HANA system to BW Bridge. Instead, you connect your BW4 HANA system to Datasphere core and do the model transfer and be able to report or create models in Datasphere, and those models will be shared or consumed in reporting systems like SAC. You also can see another line to migrate your BW4 HANA system to BW Bridge, and then you can come from BW Bridge to Datasphere Core. Really, it's this is required when you clearly wanted to go to the cloud journey as early as possible, and that's when you make this decision to uh, migrate from BW4 to BW Bridge and to Datasphere. But if you wanted to keep your on-premise system for some more time, like BW4 HANA system is going to be there or supported until end of 2040. So with that, you have a lot of time to continue to work on BW4 system and then leverage this hybrid integration with Datasphere core, and then able to build your new models in Datasphere and build your legacy models in BW4 and exchange or integrate data between these two systems seamlessly. Then we have another option, option C. This is greenfield implementation in Datasphere core. Your data warehousing is completely going to be implemented in Datasphere core without BW Bridge, without your BW4 HANA or any BW system. So this involves in your direct integration to your legacy or your source system, not legacy system. Your source system could be a legacy or S4 HANA system. And then you create models inside the Datasphere core after your ETL is being completed. You can create a graphical views or analytical models and business models to be able to consume in reporting applications. That's what little explanation below, down below to this diagram or to this picture. And then let's move on to the integration options in Datasphere for source systems. So you can see here, I have an option to do a migration to BW Bridge and then model transfer. This is exactly same screen or picture that we discussed above, but it is in a more simplified way. And then you have another option, BW4. You can use the model transfer to get the data out of your query, BW query, and then be able to model that in Datasphere. And you have another option for S4 HANA CDS views. You can do the model transfer and then be able to consume them in Datasphere. So definitely, we're not going to talk about S4 HANA CDS view integration in this session because we are focusing on BW related data integration to the Datasphere very in particular. So moving on to the next slide or next picture here, you can see BW connections in Datasphere. These are the technical names of the connections that you can say. There are three different types of BW connections possible. One is direct BW connection. This can be leveraged for your legacy or traditional BW system, BW7X. And then there is another connection, BW4. It's a special connection. You can use this connection to import, so to do the model transfer from your BW4 HANA system. So we're going to look at these systems in the Datasphere 10 trial version, and then and see the difference there. And you got the third one, which is BW Bridge connection. This is going to be between your BW Bridge to the Datasphere core tenant. So one thing you may have to understand here, the BW Bridge and Datasphere core are in a specific new tenant of Datasphere, and then BW Bridge has its own database um, presence of HANA Cloud. So all the objects that you create in Datasphere BW Bridge are going to go to the HANA Cloud under a specific schema. So BW Bridge is like a BW4 HANA system running on top of HANA Cloud, and Datasphere also running on top of HANA Cloud, but it uses a different schema inside on top that resembles in HANA Cloud database. So let's talk about these three connections in the system. I'm going to move to the Datasphere tenant. Here you can see when you go to the new connection and I create a new connection, I can look for BW. So you have two options here, SAP BW and BW4 HANA model transfer. So that's the difference. So you can just click on information to see the available features. It's going to be a model import. That's what you can see here. Uh, and this model is what you can use for data flows as well as remote tables. So this is some kind of basic information that you can get. You can always go to the help.sap and get more information, but this is kind of a quick tip for you to start. So the difference between BW and BW4 model transfer, we can find it in the help documentation. What are the different objects that you can create on top using BW connection, and the objects that you can use for BW for HANA model transfer are different. Similarly, there is another connection, BW bridge. So we're going to see that connection in a different place. Let me go to that, leave here, and then go to the data builder. And then just go to the, sorry, plus, not plus, but import entities. So when you're trying to import the entities, so you have two options, either to take the objects data from BW4 HANA or BW Bridge. So if you choose BW Bridge, it is going to look for the BW Bridge connection that's available in my particular space. There's not any BW Bridge connections available, so I wouldn't be able to proceed further. So currently, I don't have privilege to create a BW Bridge connection. That's why I cannot do it. So going back to the previous, similarly, you have BW Bridge model transfer, and then you get BW4 model transfer connection. But however, this is not a valid connection. So this is not working currently, but it should work for you in the production um, or working active tenant. So this is how you create um, three different connections for BW system integration in Datasphere. And then if you wanted to know more information about these connections, you can navigate to the help documentation. So you can I'm going to put this in the documentation attached to this session. You can go there. So you can see that this is for BW for HANA model transfer. So you can see this is to import the analytical queries from BW for HANA with their composite providers and info objects. You wanted to know more about the importing of BW4 models in Datasphere, you can see here more information that your query will be used to have the virtual objects created, and then the model will be created in Datasphere according to your BW4 HANA query. Similarly, you have more information on BW connection, and also this is and you also have option for BW bridge connection, more information related to configure and use it. That's about connecting BW bridge without BW bridge. So now we wanted to talk about why do we need a BW bridge at all? First of all, why? What are the more common use cases of or a requirement of having a BW bridge is this one, ECC to Datasphere. So especially there's going to be a limitation. You cannot use SAP extractors like 2LIS in Datasphere. So that's a big limitation. So you wouldn't be able to integrate your ECC extractors of logistics with Datasphere. That's a big limitation. There are also other limitations where some of the extractors with Delta, you wouldn't be able to integrate with Datasphere directly. The reason for it is you may not have a primary key for some of the extractors that have Delta capability, and some of the other reasons, especially Delta mode or the Delta image mode that the extractor sends is not accepted or not supported in Datasphere modeling. So these are some of the limitations that ECC system will have in order to integrate with your Datasphere code directly. And that's a very strong use case for having a BW bridge in between, so that your extractors wouldn't have any um, issue or challenge in connecting to your BW bridge, because it's a very normal to have your ODP connection to, to the BW system as the target and run the data loads um, into BW bridge first. And then from there, you can have an integration to Datasphere core after. If your source system is S4HANA or with the CDS extractors or the data sources only, then there is no reason to go to BW bridge. Otherwise, if you have any specific uh, architecture principle that you wanted to go. But in general cases, CDS extractors are directly connected to your Datasphere core without any challenge or without any issues. So that is, you can see this diagram, CDS extractor can go either to the BW bridge or directly to Datasphere. But from ECC Business Suite extractors, there is a dotted arrow that means limitations to do this integration to the Datasphere. So that makes the BW bridge use case a strong one, because your ECC legacy systems definitely need BW bridge in between. In other cases, you wanted to migrate your BW systems anyway to the BW bridge system and then integrate it with Datasphere core is another second most common use case that you will be seeing for BW bridge. You can also uh, load the data from BW bridge into Datasphere. So you can see this diagram. I mean, Delta, you can full load is always possible from BW bridge space to your Datasphere core. But with recent changes or recent feature enhancements, you can have a Delta capture from your BW bridge to the target Datasphere core tables. So that makes your layer-based architecture more stronger and useful. So you can have a staging layer here, and you can have an architecture layer in your Datasphere core. So with that layered scale architecture is possible, and data full loads are not required all the times. You can have a deltas going in to the next layers. So that's about a very summarized explanation of having a BW bridge for Datasphere. We have seen the limitations for certain systems in order to integrate with the Datasphere directly. So that's when the BW bridge use case is more strong. And other scenarios where you wanted to migrate your current BW system to BW bridge, so that your cloud journey makes easier in the future months or future years, and then from there you have as easy integration from cloud to cloud, which is data bridge space or data bridge system to Datasphere core system. And more importantly, not these two, you always have the third option to do the hybrid data model, which is BW4 to Datasphere core as an option. The reason I say hybrid approach is very important, because of the reason I already said, BW bridge is not as BW4. It has a lot of limitations, and especially I can name at least 5 of them. Like open hubs are not there. You don't have a query design creation. You'll have to rely more on Datasphere capabilities, which are not up to there at this time. And BW Bridge is supporting only ODP as a source system, but not all the other source systems. If you wanted to go with all other source systems, you always rely on your Datasphere core tenant to integrate the data. So some of these and XSA mixed modeling is not possible with BW Bridge. You still definitely needed BW4 for that. So that makes BW4 HANA use case more stronger in terms of doing the hybrid model approach at this time. So I'm not saying one approach or the other approach is better than the other, but it depends on your cloud journey and your current possibility of migrating your BW system to Bridge or not, or your investments of BW4 system with the limited capabilities will make your decision um, in DataSphere warehouse data modernization journey. Okay, with that, I would like to conclude this session. We will connect again with another new topic in DataSphere. Thank you.